नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो। आई एम JVN डॉक्टर सुमन शेखावत, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ काय चिकित्सा, फैकल्टी ऑफ आयुर्वेदिक साइंसेज, ज्योति विद्यापीठ विमेंस यूनिवर्सिटी जयपुर. Today we will talk about dyslipidemia. Principal management of dyslipidemia is lipid lowering therapy have a key role in the secondary and primary prevention of cardiovascular disease. Assessment of absolute risk of cardiovascular disease, treatment of all modalities, risk factor, and optimization of lifestyle, especially diet and exercise, are central to the management of all cases. Patients with the greatest absolute risk of cardiovascular disease derive the greatest absolute benefit from treatment. Public Health Organization recommended threshold for the introduction of lipid lowering therapy based on the identification of patient in very high risk category or those calculated to be at high absolute risk. In general, patients who have cardiovascular disease, diabetes mellitus, chronic renal impairment, familial hypercholesterolemia, or absolute risk of cardiovascular disease of more than 20% in the ensuing 10 years are arbitrarily recorded as having sufficient risk to justify drug treatment. Public health organizations also recommend largest level for patients receiving drug treatment. High risk patients should aim for HDL-C greater than 1 millimole per liter or fasting Tg less than 2 millimole per liter, while target level for LDL-C have been reduced to 1.8 millimole per liter or less. In general, total cholesterol should be less than 5 millimole per liter during treatment and less than 4 millimole per liter, approximately 150 mg per dl, in high risk patient and secondary prevention of cardiovascular disease. Non-pharmacological management is patient with lipid abnormalities should receive medical advice and, if necessary, dietary counseling to reduce intake of saturated and unsaturated fat to less than 7 to 10% of total energy. Reduce intake of cholesterol to less than 250 mg per day. Replace source of saturated fat and cholesterol with alternative food such as lean meal, low fat dairy products, polyunsaturated spreads, and low glycemic index carbohydrate. Reduce energy dense foods such as fat and soft drink while increasing activity and exercise to maintain or lose weight. Increase consumption of cardioprotective and nutrient dense food such as vegetable, unrefined carbohydrate, fish, pulses, nuts, legumes, and fruits. Adjust alcohol consumption, reducing intake of excessive or, if associated with hypertension, hypertriglyceridemia, or central obesity. Pharmacological management is the main diagnostic categories provide a useful framework for management and the selection of first line pharmacological treatment. Hypercholesterolemia can be treated with one or more of the cholesterol lowering drug as described below. Statin. These reduce cholesterol synthesis by inhibiting the HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. The reduction of cholesterol synthesis upregulates production of the LDLRR, which increases clearance of LDL and its precursor IDL, resulting in a secondary reduction in LDL synthesis. Statin reduce LDL-C by up of 60%, reduce Tg by up of 40%, and increasing HDL-C by up of 10%. They also reduce the concentration and intermediate metabolites such as inflammatory response. Azitamide inhibits activity of intestinal mucosal transporter NPC 1L1, which is responsible for absorption of dietary and bacillary cholesterol. Bile acid sequestrating resins. Drugs in this class include cholestyramine, cholestypol, and cholesevalum. These presents the reabsorption of bile acid, thereby increasing de novo bile acid synthesis from hepatic cholesterol. PCSK9 inhibitor. Monoclonal antibodies have been developed that neutralize PCSK9, an enzyme that degrades the LDRL. This causes level of LDRL to increase, which markedly reduce LDLC. The PCSK9 inhibitor currently available are evolocumab and alirocumab, which are administered by subcutaneous injection every 2 to 4, tolerated and high effective reduction in LDL-C of about 50 to 60 have been observed in patients who have not responded adequately to standard lipid lowering therapy, and this has been accompanied by a reduction in the risk of cardiovascular events of about 15%. Nicotinic acid pharmacological doses reduce peripheral fatty acid release with the result of VLDL and LDL decline while HDLC increases. Combination therapy. In many patients, treatment of predominant hypercholesterolemia can be achieved by diet plus the use of a statin in sufficient doses to achieve target LDL-C levels. Hypertriglyceridemia, predominant hyperglyceridemia can be treated with one of the TG lowering drugs described below. Fibrate. These stimulate peroxisome proliferators activated receptor alpha, which control the expression of gene products that mediate the metabolize of TG and HDL. As a result, synthesis of fatty acid TG and VLDL is reduced while that of lipoprotein lipase, which catabolize TG in enhanced high polyunsaturated long chain N3 fatty acid. These include EPA and DHA, which comprise approximately 30% of the fatty acid in fish oil. EPA and HDA are potent inhibitor of VLDL TG formation. Intake of more than 2 gram N3 fatty acid per day lower TG in dose dependent fashions. Mixed hyperlipidemia. Mixed hyperlipidemia can be difficult to treat. Fine line therapy with statin alone is unlikely to achieve target level once fasting TGS exceed approximately 4 millimole per liter. Fibrates are first line therapy of beta lipoproteinemia, but they may not control the cholesterol component. In other form of mixed hyperlipidemia, combination therapy is often required. Effective combination include statin plus phenobarbital. Recognize that the risk of myopathy is increased with gemfibrozil, but phenobarbital are Phenofibrate is relatively safe in this regard. Monitoring of therapy. The effect of lipid lowering therapy should be assessed after 6 weeks, 12 weeks for fibrates. At this point, it is prudent to review side effect and lipid response, CK and liver function test, management of hyperlipidemia in old age, prevalence of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease greatest in old age, associated cardiovascular risk, lipid level becomes less predictive as to do risk factor apart from age itself. Benefits to benefits of statin therapy maintained up to the age of 80 years, but evidence is lacking beyond this. Life expectancy and statin therapy. Life shaped by interventions are associated with shorter life expectancy than in younger patients. As so, the impact of statin on quality adjustive life years is smaller in old age. Thank you. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapet Women's University Jaipur. I hope you all are satisfied with this session. If you feel any kind of problem with this session, please mention it in comment box. Thank you. I will resolve it soon.